Good morning. I'm happy to be here with you today to share with you our program here at St. Thomas More in Durham. We are located in downtown Durham, in the heart of UNH campus. I'll be focusing on our Faith Formation program, which incorporates classroom, whole family, and adult sessions. As you know, COVID affected many of our Faith Formation programs and adult programs a great deal. We have had to learn to readjust and reevaluate our programs. My goal here today is to touch a little bit on the pre-pandemic experience, but mostly on our post-COVID experience. Before COVID, our pre-K to 5th grade met 4 weeks a month, 3 weeks in the classroom, and 1 family session. During the 3 weeks in the classroom, the second week we invited parents to join in the classroom to participate in the activities that were going on. And in the third week, while the children were in the classroom, we offered an adult session for all adults in the parish, not just parents, but all adults. And then our middle school and high school students met every other week. And they follow the life team for the high school and EDGE for the middle school. And our program follows Christ in Us from Sadleir. During COVID, all the classes were completed online, which I was the sole catechist because most of my catechists were not comfortable doing online classes. Last year, as COVID restrictions lifted, we came back by offering in-person classes. Our K to 5, we stopped the pre-K, but just had K to 5 grades, our middle school, which was the EDGE, and our high school, which was Life Team. Due to our small classrooms, we decided to provide classes in larger spaces, such as our gym, our library, the parish hall, and the prayer room. And due to the lack of catechists, we had to cluster some of our grades together. So we had K and 1 together, we had 2nd grade, we had 3rd grade, and we had 4th and 5th grade together. Even now, parents are very appreciative about our classes and very apprehensive, about classes in the smaller classrooms due to COVID concerns. This past year, our grades, our kindergarten to 5th, we offered 2 weeks per month in the classroom, and every other month we offered a 3rd week, which was our whole family activity. And during those 2 weeks that we offered, the children would be in class for one of the weeks, and then the adult sessions we would offer for all adults in the parish on a topic that would be geared for them. Let's see, I lost my place. So we'd offer whole family, which included activities, games, and included our whole, and these are some of the things that we did for our whole family classroom activities. So we started out in October with our kind of the theme of creation. And so we did the 3 flowers, which had a different question in each flower. And the kids had to make we had 3, you see the samples there, okay? And then we had 3 big ones that we would put on the wall, and each child had to fill out the response to that question. I'll just get to that in a second. We also had a creation wheel of the 7 days of creation. And then we had a picture that had St. Francis, and they had to decorate it as well as color it. And then we also, because of creation, we were also thinking of environment. We were thinking of doing pine cones with honey and bird seed on it. And then at Thanksgiving and Advent theme, we did a Thanksgiving wreath as well as a bingo Bible story game. And then we did a Lenten calendar for the Lenten season. So this is what the big leaf would look like, or the big flower, one of the leaves. So it says, how do we take care of God's earth? And so each child in that session would give us would fill out a petal and put it up. And the second one would say, how do we take care of God's creation? Or God's in, you can't, yeah, God's creation. And then the other one was taking care of yourself and others. And I have to say that was kind of our theme this year, was there was so much apprehension from parents to come back. They wanted to be back in person, but they also were very concerned. So we wanted to emphasize how to take care of themselves and others. So we thought we'd kind of incorporate that in one of the activities. And so this is how some of our families participated. And if the families were small, then they had maybe two families at a table. But most of them, we had some very big families. So, okay, and this is just how they did the pine cones. Because of allergies, we decided to stick with the honey opposed to the peanut butter. And so for our adult sessions, these were some of the topics that we covered this year. And so we had someone who was into in the environment, and so one of our parishioners talked about the importance of the reduce of plastic in our everyday society, and he incorporated that in as how we are stewards of the earth and how it's our responsibility. And so he incorporated that. So the topic was God's creation in our everyday life, and he kind of focused on that. We had daily prayer for self and family. And then we had a speaker that came and talked about caring for self, family, and community. We had someone talk about the liturgical year and what does it all, what does it all mean to be an ordinary time. And then our Lenten journey was done by our pastor, Father Andrew Cryans. And then we concluded the year with the Catholic social teachings. We felt that that was something that many of our parishioners needed to be more aware of. Okay, in our middle school program, they met every other week, and again, they follow the EDGE program. And so the emphasis this year was liturgy. And so they focused on a mass book, as well as toward the end of the sessions, they did a thing on superheroes, and they had to come up with their own superheroes with what is your powers, what are your characteristics, and we'll kind of go into this a little bit. So we have Sergeant H here, and we have the superpower, we have the characteristics, and then the other one was the virtue. So they each had to have answered those three questions within each of them. And again, we take the kids where they're at. Not all of them are, they did a great job and they love doing this. Okay, and then we have another one here. Yeah, Saint Sid. And then we have, I can't read the name up there. And again, they each came up with their own headings and their own characteristics. And then this was their mass book that the group came up with. And it was basically for first-timers coming into a Catholic church, what to expect. So what you do before Mass, and kind of gave some of the key points of what you do before Mass. We went into the Liturgy of the Word, and then the Liturgy of the Eucharist. And at the end of Mass. And then some other tips in participating at the parish. So the kids all came up with this with the guidance of with our youth minister that takes care of the middle school program. And then I don't have any pictures, unfortunately, for our high school, but every year our high school for the last 7 years have done Cardboard City. And if your parish isn't aware of that, it's really an interesting program. The kids sleep out in a cardboard box, usually in the middle of March. So it's not warm. And the kids they take sponsorships and donations, and they sponsor a program that is relevant to the kids at that, what the social needs are. And this year they decided to help with a program that dealt with victims of trafficking, human trafficking. And so they did bags of love, and each victim would get these bags of love, a backpack full of clothing, toiletries, and things that would help them as they, got back into society a little bit and help them to deal with the trauma that they have gone through, as well as the they'd ask the parishioners to help with those donations. So we had a whole list of things in the bulletin for them to help donate, as well as financial. And the money that was raised went to them. And then, so we'd start on a Friday, was it Saturday night, they'd start with the liturgy at the 5 o'clock Mass. During the afternoon on Saturday, they'd come and decorate their boxes, and they'd get involved with like the best decorated, the most creative, different topics. And then they would have the guest speaker come in, and they would talk about, they would help prepare the bags of love. Then they would help watch they would do a scavenger hunt. They would go around the community, and we usually take them around by the river in Durham there. And because a lot of we've done topics in the past with homeless teens, with vets, homeless vets. And so we wanted our kids to be in touch with their community and the needs that they're helping. Okay. Let's see. So in our middle school program and our high school program, we started out before COVID with about 60 students in each program. And because of COVID, we went down to 10 this year. So it was a big drop. Our 2 youth ministers have done a great job with their getting the students engaged and deepening their knowledge and their faith, and the children and the students' faith. In January, we do not have faith formation classes as a whole. We have our sacramental prep. So for the whole month, we do our sacramental prep for Confirmation Eucharist in the month of January. Because we found January, a lot of our students dropped off because they had ski, they had hockey, they had all these other things that I'm sure you're all familiar with. So we decided that we needed to use that time where we could really focus on the sacraments with some continuity for 4 weeks straight. So usually 3 weeks would be the class preparation, or for the sacrament preparation, as well as the 4th week would be the retreat that all parents one parent was mandatory to come to participate in. Because again, the parents also need to be involved in this. It's not graduation, it's not I'm done after confirmation. It's lifelong formation, and that's really the focus of our program. Is we really try to incorporate it as being whole family and lifelong. So we try to reach from the young to the older as well. And Roberta will talk to you more about that. We will continue to revise and enhance our program accordingly. COVID did put a twist in a few things, and we're still evolving. With restored order, we thought we had it all together, and then COVID hit, and it thank God we had some things already lined up, but we're still evolving. We've had to come back gradually. This year I'd like to add another week in, opposed to 2 weeks, 3 weeks in the classroom, and 1 week would be a whole family. But parents' feedback are very important, and every year I do a survey with them and kind of get a sense of what they got out of it, what could be changed, and so I'm totally open to that, and it was helpful to get some feedback from them. And then our adult sessions are topics, and the topics and feedback come from the participants. And so that's our program from K to 5. I'd like to introduce Roberta.
Good morning. I'm Roberta Mcbride. I'm the pastoral associate at St. Thomas More. I've lived in Durham 18 years, and it's so interesting that after serving in pastoral care and religious education and ministry in the parish for 46 years in 5 different dioceses around the country, that we end up in St. Thomas More in Durham. Today's our 54th wedding anniversary also. So thank you. I love Parish more and our ministry there. I've been pastoral associate 14 years. I'm in work with Rcia, Adult Sacramental Ministry, Adult Faith Formation, Liturgy, and Pastoral Care. That's all. Part-time. I'll talk first about RCIA and Adult Sacraments. In the last 2 years, we've gone from a team of 3 people to teach and to my teaching all of our classes. We're blessed to live in a UNH community because we have the students there, we have their parents who went to school there, who come back. And so this year, we had 3 sets of classes that I taught on Zoom, and all 3 were engaged couples who were preparing for marriage. And they either had not finished completed their sacraments, or the spouse, one couple I had, was engaged to a woman who has Jewish heritage, and she wanted to understand the liturgy for marriage, and her promise to raise the children Catholic, and what that would mean. And so we had our classes weekly on Zoom, 3 separate sessions, and we're so happy to come together at the end of our sessions in preparation for sacraments with the bishop at the cathedral, in person, to have a retreat and really get to know one another and to learn from each other what we really experience throughout the year. My experience in Rcia is that the year before COVID, I had 9 candidates and 3 catechumens, and they really enjoy having their classes together because I have students and then I have adults in the parish, and they like having that interaction, that support from each other, seeing each other at Mass. And we really enjoy using the Our Sunday Visitor Journey of Faith and other resources on prayer and spirituality that I bring to the sessions. For adult faith opportunities, I believe that our adults, young and old, are looking for a compass and for an anchor in this time of COVID, in world situations of upheaval and uncertainty. We still have many parishioners, as Anne said, who are concerned about health and safety, not ready to come back to Mass or continue involvement in parish activities. Each year on Pentecost, we previously have had our ministry fair, where all of our activities and programs have a booth in our gym, and everyone comes to see what they can be part of, how they can be involved. That's where we often recruit for catechism, for faith formation classes, and also for RCIA, and have not been able to do anything like that. And so in all areas, we're really in need of people to come back and help us restart. I think we agree that our people have formed new habits now. They're used to watching Mass on TV. They're used to coming when they feel they can. And so we know that we're anxious to just get going again. And so in the last 2 years, we began to use the LTP insert for bulletins called Keeping the Seasons for Advent and Christmas and Lent and Easter. And we've had really good response for that. And we offered our Walking with Purpose Bible study, women's Bible study, 3 different sessions during COVID. They did it online. Part of the joy of the Walking with Purpose is meeting in purpose, and having those conversations online was really hard. After 3 sessions, they're waiting to come back together again. It's hard to sustain it. But 2 of the members, one had a stroke and one died of cancer, was dying of cancer during that time. And it was great support for each other, and they found such joy and solace and support with each other. A regular tradition at St. Thomas More has been our Lenten soup and bread suppers. On Wednesday nights, we gather, everyone brings homemade, we have teams bring homemade soups, and we share a meal, and then we go up to the church for presentations, evening prayer, and then presentations by our parishioners on different topics, art and religion, personal faith stories, church history, saints, and timely topics. And we also hope to continue offering retreats for men and women on Eucharist, Lectio Divina, and Visio Divina, prayer, sacraments, and history, the Mass, and so on. We just restarted and retrained our altar servers, and the parents are enjoying coming with their children to learn more about the Mass themselves. And I personally have taken part in the adult formation session. I led the Ordinary Time, Ordinary Holiness. I'm a Benedictine Oblate, and I was happy to bring my Benedictine spirituality any way I can into our parish community. And but what I really enjoy is pastoral care in the parish. And it's been so difficult these weeks and years here, well, 2 years, for those who are homebound, elderly, in our care facilities. Within 10 minutes in our Durham community, I visit 3 nursing homes every week. I see 50 people. And it's such a joy for me to remind them that they still have a purpose. My daughter-in-law died at 37, and I had begun my nursing home ministry way back. She's been gone 18 years now. But I remember one of my friends at the parish told me that her mother found her purpose when I asked the group at Brookdale there to pray for our family because we weren't sure how we were going to get through this time. And so I believe our nursing home people, our elderly, our homebound are our prayer warriors. And I love to remind them that that is true. And so I had 3 separate Zoom services during COVID, and I'm so happy to be going in person now. And I encourage them to build their faith community right where they are. And they love to hear what's going on in the parish. So I ask them to pray for our children, our students, to pray for our pastor, to pray for all the needs of our parish. They love Cardboard City, and they love knowing what's happening. They love blessing of animals. They love crowning of Mary, and they want to tell me about the time they carried the crown when they did crowning of Mary. And they also love receiving cards the kids make in our card ministry. On a personal note, I just want to conclude in saying that I'm in a place in my life now after 46 years of just wanting to teach someone else what I know, what I love, what I've learned. And I would love to have more opportunities for the next generation coming up to come and let me share my life with them and take them with me to teach them how to love and participate in parish ministry, how to teach those who are longing to know about God. In the nursing home, I'm the only one doing active ministry right now, and our people need to know. Last week, my little Anna said, "I'm in so much pain. Do you think that I've sinned so much that the Lord is allowing me to experience this pain?" And I could remind her that the Lord loves her as with her, within her, in her pain, and is never away from her. And so they also want to know about their families. They're away from those who love them. They want to know they're prayed for every Mass at our parish. They want to know they're still part of our community. So we know our parish life programs are not the same. We're, Ann and I, the truth, we're the only ones at our parish right now in ministry, and we're covering all the bases. And we're anxious to welcome a campus minister full-time again, and we're anxious to get our students involved again in our different ministries. And we know we can't go back to where we were, but we are open and looking outside the box to find our way forward, to continue life in our wonderful parish. And so we hope some of the things that we've shared with you inspire you, and we're open to any questions you might have.